What's up YouTube, how's it going? Alright, so for today I got another tutorial for you guys. Now before we actually get into the tutorial, I just want to give a big shout out to the homie Phamstyle. He's the one that actually put me onto this tutorial, so big shout out to him. If you guys haven't checked out his channel, you definitely should. He kills it for the days. And I'd like to say that me and his style are kind of very similar, but definitely go check out his channel if you haven't already. It's Phamstyle right there. I'm going to put his link in the description below. Definitely worth checking out for sure. His fitted days are real clean. I also want to give another shout out to the homie Name Brand Clothing. So this tutorial is kind of based off what he did. It is, if you guys don't know, it is a curved brim tutorial. I know curved brims are really popular nowadays, and you know, he did his, but I'm going to show you my version of it. It's going to be pretty similar for the most part, but the method in which I do it is going to be different. So once again, shout out to Name Brand. I didn't bite your idea, kinda. So the only thing you're really going to need for this tutorial is a hat, which is the one that I'm going to be using right now. This hat is from H&M. I got it solely for the video, but it's actually a really good hat nonetheless. I think this would be really cool as a curved brim hat. And all you're going to need is a mug of some sort. So right here, just a very basic mug. So let's get into the process. Alright YouTube, so for this tutorial, all you want to do is get the brim wet. Nothing too crazy, pretty simplistic. I'll just show you how I do it so you guys can see it. So now that you've got the brim wet, now you can go on to the next step. Alright YouTube, so now that you got the hat wet, what you want to do is you want to stick the hat in the mug. Now I had to switch up the mug because the other mug was a little too small, but you want a little bit of a bigger mug, like with a bigger opening if possible. You could also use a cup, but I definitely recommend a little bigger of a mug. It also depends on how much you want it to really curve. Like this one, it's only like a slight curve, it's not like completely curved. So you know, based on that, you can like choose to stick it in like a smaller mug or like a bigger mug. The bigger mug is for like a kind of a slighter curve, because I'm not going to stick it in for too long. I'm only probably going to stick it in for like 10 minutes tops, because it'll really curve the brim. Like I know Phamstyle, when he curves his, he does for his for at least like 30 minutes. For me personally, I wouldn't do that, but you know, you guys can choose to. So you just want to stick it in like that. Looks weird, I know, but like I said, I'm only gonna stick it in for like 5-10 minutes, and you see it's already starting to curve. So once it's wet, there you go. So yeah, just let it sit for 5 minutes. Now while that's actually kind of curving, with this hat right here, I actually did not do this method. So basically with this hat, the brim was really flexible, so I just kind of bent it. You can do that with some hats. I don't recommend doing it with all of them. With kind of like the more vintage hats, since the brims are usually a little more flimsy, you can just kind of bend it to however you'd like. So this one, you know, I like the curve on it, not too much. A nice slight curve. With this one right here, this is a Reebok one. The brim is a little bit more stiff, but you know, for here I just kind of gave it a slight curve. This is actually one that I didn't do this method either. Over the course of like a year, I've just been like slowly bending it and stuff like that. So as you can see, it's not like completely bended, but you know, it still has a slight curve on it. So really, it just depends on how you want to do it. For these more sturdier brims, I definitely recommend getting them wet and probably trying this method for sure, because with the stiffer brim, it's obviously harder to bend. Alright YouTube, so 5 minutes have almost been up. As you can see, it's still in the cup right here. So this is how it looks. So I'm actually going to take it out and show you guys how it looks. So this is kind of what it looks like. As you can see, it's really curved. But you know, if you don't want it, you can kind of like bend it out a little bit, you know what I mean? So it doesn't give too much of a curve, but for sure, you know, like I said, I don't really like it super curved. So right there. Looks real nice right there. These H&M hats fit a little big, from my personal opinion, or from my personal experience. So but regardless, this is a very nice hat. I like it a lot. It's definitely going to be a staple for sure. Fortunately, I wasn't born in 91. I was born in 92, but regardless, the hat is real sick. So that's the tutorial for today. Like I said, this cup method works a little bit better than the rubber band method, just because this gives a more sturdier hold on the hat, and you can still kind of bend out the hat however you'd like. So don't think that if you keep it in for too long, it's going to be like a really curved brim. You can still kind of like bend it out like how I did. So right there, once again, yeah, it looks real nice. So for sure, that is the curved brim tutorial. It takes about maybe like 10 minutes tops, not even. So just, it really varies on how long you want to keep the hat in there, but for sure this is a very inexpensive method to use, and it works really well. So with that being said, don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment. But let me know what you guys think. If you guys have any other suggestions on how to tweak this tutorial, make it a little better, just let me know. But for sure, thank you again so much for watching. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram at true_Pinoy101. Follow me on Twitter at truepinoy101. Don't forget to subscribe, and have a nice day. Peace.